Ooh, what's up? What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another session of Coffee and Martial Arts. Salud, salud, salud. Cheers. Yes, we have a good show today working for you. Let me just give me a second, and I'm going to share with you a little bit of video because today we're talking about Kenpo weapons. Yes, sir. So let's bring it. Hold on. There we go. Viene. Hola. Okay, so we have a great show today for you, okay? But before we go there, let me just say hello to some people. Hola, saludos, si fue Ernesto Colbreder, big hug, abrazo, thank you, saludos. Carlos Villarroel, buena tarde, Big Master, how you doing? ¿Cómo está? Llegando el trabajo, saludos, ya me puse cómodo para escucharlo, gracias. Today in English, saludos from Brazil, Barón Café, Marcial, os, saludos. Okay, so today we have a good subject. Today we're going to talk about the weapons in Kenpo. Is Kenpo a solid weapon system? There's a little bit of controversy about this. Of course, I'm in favor. I'm a Kenpo guy. So, but I want to listen what you got to say about this. But before we go there, let me just say that we are going live from our Facebook page, Master Frank Soto Kinetic Dragon. So please subscribe, like, give us a little like there, subscribe, and share the video. That really helps a lot with the algorithm, so we can get to more people. That would I would really appreciate that. Thank you. We're also going live from the International Hall of Fame page, Facebook page, the Hall of Fame of Argentina. So we go live all the way down to South America. And we have this impact with a lot of people because of this nice group of martial artists led by Master Juan Martín Álvarez. Saludos, maestrazo. Excelente trabajo. So we are there going live as well. So thank you for all of your support. Gracias por su apoyo. We're also going live on our YouTube channel, the Kinetic Dragon channel. Yes, sir. Kinetic Dragon. Yes, yes. So please also like and subscribe and click on the little bell so you get notified every time we go live. Okay, so today, like I said, we're going to talk about the weapons in Kenpo. It's Kenpo, a solid weapon system. Okay, I want to hear your opinions about it. This is important. I believe so. Okay, so please leave a comment or ask a question. Okay, and I'm going to be sharing a little bit of this. Let me just of this topic, okay? Because I believe it's truly important, okay? So, let me share a little bit of video here. Okay. There we go. Okay, so what do you think, guys? Do you think Kenpo, it's a good weapon system or not? Okay. Now, I've heard some debates about this. Now, my good friend and coffee and martial arts collaborator um, talks about this. Um, let's see. He says that Kenpo is a bladed system that he was told. Brian Cooper says this. Brian Cooper, he says that he was told this by the founder, Senior Grandmaster Ed Parker, that Kenpo was a blade system. Okay, so it works fantastic with blades. I have to agree. Okay, so um, for some of you that don't know, let's see. Matt Snell says the weapons forms show how to do Kenpo techniques with weapon, but not so much how to use weapons in its best way. Why not? Huh? Why not? That would be the question. Why not? Why do you say this, sir? Can you elaborate, please? Thank you. Hilary de Guiarti Longueira said, good afternoon, Master. Greetings from Valencia, Spain. Saludos. Gracias. The weapons form in Kenpo show how to do Kenpo techniques with weapons, but not so much how to use the weapons in its best ways. Let's agree to disagree. Okay, I believe Kenpo does show how to use weapons in the best way because Kenpo is a weapon system. But we're going to get there. But thank you for your comments. They're very interesting. So, Mr. Snell, can you elaborate, sir? Could you elaborate on this comment? Thank you. Thank you. Much appreciated. Because I've heard this before. And there's a group of Kenpoists, several of the seniors in Kenpo say that Kenpo is not a weapon system, that it's only an empty hand, and they just added the weapons on top of the hands. They have this idea. I would like to hear more about it because, well, definitely I don't agree. I believe Kenpo, but for a while I did because I didn't understand it. I think the problem is not with the system. The problem is with the practitioner. That being said, I'm not putting any guilt on anybody. I'm saying that you got to make yourself responsible for this so you can empower yourself and take Kenpo into a good weapon system. Okay, so the principles are there, the concepts and theories of motion are there, right? The movement is there, the vocabulary of motion is there. So you just add a weapon as an extension of your own motion, and then you'll get a good weapon system for sure. But like I said, I would love to hear your opinion. So thank you, Mr. Snell, for your opinion. Much appreciated. And like I said, I believe there's more. That's why I'm doing this. I'm bringing this subject because there's more of this, and I would love to hear what you guys have to say. If you want to correct me, please do so. I'm not the authority here. I'm just sharing my opinion, like people there. Okay, so let me see. So if we have Kenpo, okay, so in the American Kenpo system, okay, you start with open hands, right? And then when you get to be an expert, that means a black belt, then you add weapons. Actually, you start with brown belts with staff, right? The staff set. And then you got the club set, and then you have 4-7, which is double clubs, like you're watching there on screen right now. And then you have Form 8, which is the knife form, double knives, okay? So people believe, and I was one of those, yes, I used to believe this, that Kenpo didn't work with weapons. And like I said, that was my own ignorance. I'm going to talk about myself, okay? My own ignorance and lack of understanding of the system that made me believe this, okay? And the problem is, of course, the founder of Kenpo, Mr. Parker, it's gone. He's been gone for over 31 years, more than 31 years. So he's not here to answer those questions. So now is the job of the seniors, and then all the Kenpo instructors like myself or any of you guys watching this to answer this, okay? So some of you, I've heard this from even some of the seniors saying that Kenpo is not a weapons-based system, or that weapons come from other arts, okay? That's the other thing I would like to talk about. I think Kenpo, it's Kenpo. So I'm going to quote Mr. Parker when he said, and it's written in one of the books. So, Kenpo is not Chinese, it's not Japanese. Kenpo, it is what it is. Okay, so that saying that Kenpo it's its own entity. Okay, so it belongs to the individual. Okay, and I got to agree. Of course, it does have a Chinese connection. It also has a Japanese connection, a strong one, and it also has an American version. Okay, so um, in the American version that we got from Mr. Parker, and now I'm also going to include other Kempo styles. Okay, so if you're from a different Kempo style, not Ed Parker's Kempo, and you want to talk about the use of weapon in your own Kempo system, please share. Okay, I'm not exclusive at all. I also train different types of Kempo. But in American Kempo, which is the video that I'm showing, uh, we add the weapons when we are at a higher level. Okay. Sensei Ahmed says all systems are the same. The fault is rarely on the system, but the practitioner. Thank you, sir. As the saying goes, a bad builder blames his tools. Oh, nice. I like that. Thank you for sharing. Yes, and I agree, Sensei. Yes. Uh, I believe that um, the uh, the responsibility. I'm not trying to put fault or guilt on anybody, but yes, the responsibility goes into the practitioner. That way, if you believe that, then you're gonna be responsible of what you're learning and what you're applying, and you can empower yourself to make it better. Thank you, Sensei. Okay, Ivan Cordia says, Master, does Kempo have knife fighting techniques? Yes, it does. Definitely. Okay. Let me share some of them. Um, it is the knife form has its own applications, and yes, you can take it to a knife fighting level. Most definitely, yes, for sure, yes. But it's like I said, it's apt to the Kempoist, to the individual. It's not the problem is not within the system. The problem lies within the practitioner, and that it's truly important to mention and to make sure that you understand this. Okay, so stop blaming Mr. Parker or any of the seniors, or for that matter, or whatever, and just uh, make your Kempo better. Okay, make your expression of Kempo better. Okay, so yes, we see here the knife form. Okay, that's form 8. Okay, and that everything I'm doing there has a real application. Yes, I've also heard that this form doesn't work because you cross the knife and you're going to cut yourself. Okay, if you cut yourself with the knife, that means you don't have a good Kenpo. Okay, so it does work. It's a good form. And the motion with the Kenpo knives, it's solid. And it's actually very well taught and very well designed. If you don't understand it, that means you don't have a good instructor or you're not doing it properly. Okay. So, because it's the problem of the student, but it can also be a problem of the instructor, of the teacher, definitely. Okay. So, in uh, ancient Japan, it is said that when you were a sensei back in the days, right, and you sent your warriors to battle, okay, and let's say more than 30 or 40% or like half of your warriors died in battle, you know what that meant, right? That meant that instructor, that sensei failed, so he would have to give his head and they would chop his head off because he failed, because all of those people died because of his failure. So he was responsible of that. So if we take that attitude to today's environment, how many of us will have our heads cut off because we failed as instructors? That would be a good question. So you got to be responsible of what you're teaching. Okay, you got to be responsible of your understanding of the art of what you're teaching, whether it's Kenpo, karate, taekwondo, jujitsu. It doesn't matter. Okay, and you have to make sure that you are fulfilling the goals of that art. Okay, that's also very important. Okay, it's important to um, make sure that you're doing things properly and that you're teaching properly and you are responsible of what you're teaching, of what you're sharing to your students. Okay. So I learned this form, and I learned the whole Kenpo system from my Kenpo instructor, Grandmaster Larry Tatum. And I'm very grateful for that because I believe he taught me well. Okay. He knows he's still out there. He's still teaching. He's still active. Actually, we're going to do a seminar on February 27 on Sunday. We're going to do a Zoom seminar organized by Scott Sadwell. Okay. So if you can look for Scott, let me see if I can share it here because it's on Facebook. Okay. So, and I will continue to share more about this, the weapons. Okay. And talk about it. But on February 27, Mr. Tatum is going to give a seminar, and some of us instructors are going to support it. Mr. Damien Abbott, salute to you, sir, from England. He's also going to teach. Mr. Roberto Almagro from Ecuador, he's also going to teach, and myself. So it's going to be four of us, and of course, the main enchilada, the main dish, the main guy. It's going to be the man himself, Grandmaster Larry Tatum. He's going to be teaching as well. Let me see. Like I said, I'm going to try to find this on Facebook. So be there or be square. Okay, you got to be there, guys. It's going to be it's going to be very economic. It's not expensive at all. You can just join through Zoom and get it and learn. Okay, it's a very easy way. Yes, I know it's not the same as being live, but it's the second best. It's very close, and it's what we have now. Okay, and actually, it connects you to all these people around the world. So you're going to have a guy from England, a guy from Mexico, a guy from Ecuador, and a guy from the States teaching at the same time, and you can see it from the, comfort of your own living room. Come on, I mean, it doesn't get better than that. Okay, so. You just look for Scott Southwell. Let me share his Facebook here. Okay. There we go. Oh, let me make it a little bit bigger. There we go. Okay. Mr. Sadwell is right there for you. You can look for him. And he's the one organizing this nice seminar. Okay. There it is. Okay. So Southwell's Kenpo, it's hosting Larry Tatum's International Zoom Camp. Okay, let me follow this link so you see where you're going and where you can register. Okay, here we go. February 27th, it's a Sunday. Southwell Kenpo is hosting Larry Tatum's International Zoom Camp. Okay, just go into Facebook, look there. There is the link. You can look for it. Okay, so join us for another great Zoom camp featuring Grandmaster Larry Tatum, Master Damien Abbott, Master Frank Soto, Master Roberto Almagro. The camp would start at 12 p.m. I think that's Eastern time. I'm not sure, but you can check there. And it ends at 4 p.m. And the cost is going to be $50. So, like I said, it's very affordable. You get 4 hours of top instruction, and we'll get to share more about Kenpo and the art and stuff. Okay, good. So let's go back into the weapons. So in Kenpo, we start the weapon system. We begin with the club set and the staff set. Okay, actually, you start with the staff set first, which is the long staff, and then you go for the club set. Okay, so those are the weapons set that you start with. Okay, you see there right there is the club set. Okay, that's the opening, and that's the beginning of the set. Then some of the applications, because everything does have an application for you to apply it, try to apply it in real life, right? So you need to adjust it, of course. So you have the club set, and then you also have the staff set. Okay, so Kenpo is definitely a weapon system. Okay, but like I said, I would love to hear your comments. So if you have something to say, thank you, Mr. Snell. Thank you, Sensei Emmett, for your comments. Ivan Coria as well for your question. And there you go. That's the staff set right there. This was designed, or it was a thesis of Grandmaster Chuck Sullivan. Okay, He learned it from Mr. Parker. The story is there on YouTube. He shares the story. He said he learned a big set from Mr. Parker, and then he created a shorter version, a sweet version of the set, and Mr. Parker approved it, and that's the one we have till today, because this was done back in the early 60s. Okay, so let's see. There we go. Here I am. So weapons are a main part of Kenpo, okay? But like I said, some of us don't believe because of the influence of people out there talking and saying, sometimes we don't believe about the system, okay? Okay, so let's see. Mr. Snell, it's elaborating. Thank you, sir. Let's see. For example, 5 swords, empty hand. Then 5 storms with sticks are very similar. Yes, it would be good to have a new technique not built on top of the original technique pattern. Why? Okay, don't get me wrong. I do love the weapons in Kenpo, and placing them on top of empty hands makes it easy to learn as it's similar. It's a similar pattern. Okay, and yes, it does work with the weapons, but stepping outside of the technique, should we have additional weapons techniques that maximize the use of the weapons that aren't built on? Okay, sorry, this is as far as it goes. If you can, when we're showing the text here, it only shows this much. So if you can just cut that and paste it on a second, the part that is not here, so we can share it. Sorry, Mr. Snell. So yes, okay, I got you. But let's think of this. Let's say that Kenpo is originally a weapon system. Okay, so because I'm going to apply that what Mr. Parker used to say, right? Mr. Parker used to say that for every principle, concept, and theory and movement, there is an opposite and a reverse. So let's apply the opposite over the reverse. Okay, so instead of thinking of, let's say, if we apply the opposite, we will have the Filipino approach, right? The Eskrima approach. So you're saying that if you go from empty hand and you add weapons, that we should have different techniques instead of just adding the weapons. But let's say that Kenpo was created with weapons. Let's just say for the sake of it, like the Filipino arts. And then you just take the weapons away and now you have empty techniques. That's what the Filipino do, right? And nobody, I don't seem to, well, maybe, but I don't hear problems about it. Actually, people love the panantukan or whatever they call it, the Filipino boxing. So I've heard this from the Filipinos that Filipino boxing comes from knife fighting. So that's what. So if Kenpo was like the Filipino arts, would that be okay? Just something to think about. Okay, good. Okay, so what do you think of that? Now, if Kenpo was a weapon system and we took the weapons out and now we have the empty hand, then it's a very nice and progressive way to learn. First, you learn empty hands, then you just add the weapons, but they were there in the first place, right? Let's see. Sensei Emmett says, okay, let me share this. Mr. Snell says, love the flip side idea. Thank you, sir. Thank you. And thank you for your comments and for watching this. This is cool. Let's say, Mr. Emmett, Sensei Emmett says, thanks, Frank, and look forward to a seminar. Kenpo is a system I've never tried, but keen to get some insight. Cool. Thank you, Sensei. It will be amazing to have you there. Yes, thank you. What do you train, sir? Are you more karate do guy or karate? I don't know. Could you elaborate? Thank you. And if you are, do you have weapons in your system? Like the Kabuto or I don't know. Hilary de Guiarte Longueira says, in my opinion, it is important to know and master the subject of weapons and their legal aspect. Yes, yes. since it can be reversed against you if you misuse them. If you misuse them. Thank you for not mastering them or because of their excessive use. Right, right. Agree. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, so Gabriel Zamora says in Filipino, weapons are taught first and then empty hands. There you go. Yes, that's what I was saying. Thank you, Gabriel Zamora. So in Kenpo, it's the opposite. Kenpo, the progression starts from empty hand all the way to the use of weapons. Okay. Greetings, Master. Greetings to you, Sir Gabriel Zamora. Thank you, Maestro. So yes, Kenpo has the opposite approach as the Filipinos. So the Filipinos start first with weapons and then they go into empty hands. Kenpo starts first with empty hands and then we go into weapons. But see, in the Filipinos, we see the same patterns that we see with weapons, we see with empty hands. Okay? And like I said, people don't seem to have a problem with that. But in Kenpo, since it's the opposite, we question this. And I believe that we question this probably because we didn't understand what the founder of Kenpo, American Kenpo, was trying to do. Or where did he get this from? Right? Where did he get this idea from? With the Chinese, the Japanese, the Filipinos? Okay. I heard a lot of different stories about this. Okay. So what's your opinion, guys? Let me know, please. Hold on. So somebody was asking about does Kenpo has knife fighting applications. So let's see. I have a little bit of footage on that somewhere around here. Some of the applications. Okay. So as we continue to talk, we're going to share this, okay? There it is. Okay, so if Kenpo was taught the opposite way, right? First weapons, then empty hands. Would you be okay with the empty hands, sir, Mr. Snell, Maestro? Or would you have the same feeling of what you just mentioned? Now, according to Mr. Parker, what he was teaching us was a system of motion, right? A vocabulary of motion. Okay. Sensei Emmett says, I train a lot of Japanese styles. Cool. Great. I love Japanese arts. Jiu-jitsu, Goshin Jutsu, Goshin Jutsu, Iaido, and Kobudo. Oh, nice. Very nice. And everything else I can venture into even for a few training sessions. I'm 3 decades obsessed with training. Amazing. Great. Thank you for sharing, Sensei. Cool. Cool. We'd love to hear more about it. Thank you, sir. Maestro Snell says, do you think if Mr. Parker lived longer, if he would have explained the knife or gun techniques we have? Yes, I believe so. I believe so. Yes. I do like the gun techniques because of the concept behind it. Okay. And I like the knife techniques as well. I think he did a good job, but giving a point of reference, like he would say. Okay. Jorge Sanchez, saludos. Salud, sir. Thank you. So, I think there's a lot there to share. Mr. Snell says, I think so too. Love the guns too. Yes, the guns are cool. Yeah, definitely. Okay, Omar Six says, I'm a big fan of yours and I would like to be interviewed by you. I am a student of Yicha Perez and Frank Big Rocks, and I know many martial arts, boxing, jiu-jitsu, Kenpo. Yes, send me, if you have me on Omar Sick, let's see, send me, if you're on Facebook or contact me, let me share my email, okay? Okay, he says, I would love to be interviewed by you because I am blind. Okay, my name is Omar. Nice to meet you, Omar. And I think it will be very interesting to be interview someone who is blind and how well they do it in the martial arts. Yes, sir, I agree. Like I said, please let me share my my email or contact me through Facebook, okay? go into Facebook and look for Master Frank Soto Kinetic Dragon. Okay, that's my Facebook page, and please send me a message through there, and so we can contact. Okay, so we can make contact and settle up our interview, sir. Thank you, Omar Sik. I, I I hope I said that right. Uh, is it Tsik or Seek or Zeke? I don't know. Thank you, sir. Okay. David Carigliano in the house. Carigliano in the house. Os. Thank you, sir. A student of the great Norman Sandler and Shihan John Busto. Nice. Good instructors. My respect to them. Thank you. Thank you for being here, Mr. Carigliano. Okay, cool. So, anybody else who wants to share their comments about the use of weapons in any art? Okay, like Sensei Emmett, who trains the Kabuto art. So, Mr. Emmett, how do you combine the martial arts training or the empty hands like Jiu-Jitsu and Goshin Jitsu or and Kabuto? Okay, that would be interesting. Thank you. Okay. Let's see. Awesome says Mr. Carigliano. Awesome. Welcome, sir. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay. So, weapons in Kenpo. Okay. So, Kenpo, I was talking about the vocabulary of motion. So, every basic in Kenpo, it's a letter. It's like a letter, right? The inward block, the outward block, the straight punch, the vertical punch, the hand sword, right? The back knuckle, the sandwiching elbow, the upward elbow, the front kick, the roundhouse kick, the side kick, the back kick, the spinning back kick, the scoop kick, the eye slice, or the claws, the heel palms, all of that. They're all letters of the alphabet of motion, right? And it's all categorized in the book Infinite Insights and the manuals. Okay, so I think the late senior grandmaster Ed Parker did an amazing job with that. And then you have what? Syllabus, right, which is a conjunction of letters, and then of the alphabet. And then you have words, right? And then you have phrases. Okay, so you have the alphabet of motion. Yes, thank you, Mr. Snell. The alphabet of motion. Okay, so that alphabet of motion should. What do you think, Mr. Snell? Do you think Mr. Parker was thinking of weapons or just empty hand when he created that alphabet of motion? Because according to my good friend Bry Cooper, he was told by Mr. Parker that Kenpo was a bladed system, meaning that it was a knife fighting system. So you think he was thinking about that when he created the alphabet of motion, or he just added the weapons? Because there's this feeling or this sensation that he just added the weapons on top of the techniques, right? And you're probably right. Okay, I don't think so, but it could be. Okay, I'm not close to anything. Like I said, I'm not the authority here. I'm just commenting, analyzing this. Okay, Jorge Sanchez said Ed Parker has a book with Master Larry Tatum nunchucks. Okay, Mr. Parker did a guide to the nunchucks, yes, and Larry Tatum was one of the sparrings in the book. With I think also Mr. Planas was there, and I don't remember who else. Thank you, Jorge. Thank you. David says the universal pattern. Yes, exactly, the universal pattern, which the universal pattern was published for the first time in The Secrets of Chinese Karate. That was back in 1962. I think it was 62 when he published that book for the first time. 62, 63. Okay. So if Kenpo is based, the alphabet of motion is based upon the pattern. Do you think he was also considering the use of weapons when he designed this? Right? David says 62. No, it's definitely 62 or 63, the book. Definitely. That I'm sure. It was the early 60s. Thank you. Yeah, the publishing of The Secrets of Chinese Karate. Absolutely. Yes, sir. So, uh, so if Kenpo is based upon these angles of motion of the universal pattern, American Kenpo, right? Uh, then, like I said, are we adding? Mr. Snell says, not sure if I've always thought of it as an empty hand system, as my environment is low weapons in everyday life. There you go. So empty hand is more important for everyday defense than weapons for us in the UK. Oh, yes, yes. Same here in Mexico, sir. You are more likely to get punched than stabbed. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Jorge Sanchez says 64. No, 62 or 63, Sanchez. Thank you, sir. 64 was already published. Okay, so yes, Kenpo is stronger. American Kenpo, since it's a self-defense oriented or street fighting oriented system, it's more an empty-handed, has more of the empty-handed approach. But that doesn't mean that weapons were not in Mr. Parker's mind, or were they, or not? What do you guys think? Okay, and because yes, I agree that it's more empty hand. But for example, here in Mexico, violence is going really bad now on the streets. In the streets, in the city, and we see knives, and we see guns, and we see heavy, high caliber guns and stuff like that. And you're not going to be able to use Kenpo for that. You better get out of there. All right, we're not stupid. But anyway, you need to consider weapons as a part of the environment, even if it's just a low percentage, which is good. I'm happy that you don't have much violence with weapons, but it could still happen. So I think Mr. Parker did consider that, because in the US, you do have the use of weapons. People use, a lot of people carry guns or knives for that matter. So you need to consider it in your self-defense system. And remember, it's American Kenpo. It's not Mexican Kenpo. It's not British Kenpo. It's American Kenpo. But yes, once you take it to the UK, then your version, you need to what? You need to tailor it to your environment. So thank you, Mr. Snell. Okay, David Carigliano says with a Hawaiian background, he grew up in the streets of fighting. There you go. Okay. Jorge Sanchez says guns. Yes, yes. Matt Snell says, agreed. We need to look at all situations. Yes, sir. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. So we need to consider all types of situations, right? And of course, like, for example, if you apply any of the moves that you're looking at this screen right now with the knives and stuff, and you apply them, you might get problems with the law, okay? The use of excessive force. But this is also, it's not just a functional art. It's also, self-defense, it also has a certain level of lethality in theory, okay? But you got to be responsible of what you're doing with it. Of course, for sure, yes. David says, absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Carigliano. Okay, so let's see. Let me share a little bit of the other weapons. Okay, I hope you guys are enjoying this, and please keep on sharing your thoughts and ideas, because this really, really help. Welcome, sir. Oh, thank you again. Gracias. Okay. So, trying to get to the staff. There we go. Okay. So, Master Juan Martín Álvarez, saludos. Un gusto verte por acá. Saludos, Master. Gracias. Un abrazo. Thank you, sir. David Coglero said, oh, absolutely great. Great to thank you, sir. Thank you. Livia Garcia, gracias. Gracias, Livia. Saludos. Jorge Sanchez, in Texas, people carry guns. There you go. In Texas, people, they love their guns, actually. Got you that. And that's where I go to train with, with weapons, to Texas, to Senior Master Tim Bulett's specialized weapons and specialized weapons uh, uh, system or school of Texas. Okay, the SWAT Academia, the SWAT Academy of Texas. Okay, so yes, agreed. Thank you. Okay. David Carigliano says, great to be on your program. Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you for being here and sharing. Much appreciated. You're the man. Thank you. Okay. So, what else do you get from weapons when you're in Jorge says, I am in Texas. Cool. Great. Salute to all the people there. Nice. Okay. Hold on a second. So if you're a Kenpo guy, what did you get when you started learning your weapons? Like when you learn the staff set that you're watching right now, what did you get? Oh, good old Catherine Sumter says, I like to think of the potential of everyday items as weapons. Example, a pen, a stick. Oh, you must be very dangerous with a pen. I wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of that. Guru. Cool. Yes. In Kenpo, we categorize weapons in 3 different types, right? We have the natural weapons, your open hands, your fists, your elbows, whatever. The environmental weapons or improvised weapons, like what you're mentioning, Guru, and the man-made weapons. And in the man-made weapons, we have the long staff, the clubs, which is a little bit shorter than the regular eskrima sticks, and the knives. Oh, and also the nunchucks. Okay, those are the ones that are part of the system. Thank you, Catherine. Salud. Thank you so much. Jorge Sanchez says, love this program with my Kenpo brothers. Thank you. Thank you, Kenpo brother. Okay. David Carigliano says, yellow, checking the storm. Yes. What about checking the storm? It's a good technique. Yeah, like it. Okay. So if you take for example, in Kenpo, when you're learning the techniques, do you believe the techniques are the most important thing, or learning how to move with Kenpo and how to solve a problem with Kenpo? And the techniques are what Mr. Parker used to say, what they are, or said in the books, which are the case studies of motion. Okay, for you to learn the concept, the principles, and the way to move with Kenpo, how Kenpo will take you to maximize your movement, to move in a way that it's truly effective, really fast, really devastating, and it takes care of the problem, of the aggression, right? Okay, so I believe is that's the most important thing, what you're learning from the techniques, not the technique itself. I'm not saying the techniques are wrong. No, I'm saying that you need to take them, what you're learning in the dojo or the studio, you need to be able to take it to real life, take it to the street scenario, to a life scenario, to a real threat. In the dojo or the school or the studio, you're learning, or you're gaining all these tools and you're getting conditioned so you can solve the problem on the street. Okay, it's never going to be the same, right? It can't. Okay, so David Carigliano says, solving the problem, height, width, and depth concept. Yes, that's one of them. Canceling dimensions. Great. Thank you, sir. Okay. So you have all this concept that entwined with this main concept, which is canceling the dimensions of your opponent or aggressor. Good. And enhancing your own, right? So let's see, maybe you could think about angle of delivery, lines of entry, angle of cancellation, angle of contact, angle of impact, so on and so forth, right? Good. Economy of motion, timing, all of that, it's a part of it, right? So weapons enhance that as well. For example, when you're using the staff, you're learning to balance the right side with the left side, because sometimes we don't practice the techniques on the left side as much as we do on the right side, as much as we should. Okay, and that's okay. But once you get the staff, you're going to have to do it on both sides. There's not really a stronger side, right? I mean, there is in your hand, but not with the staff, because you got an equal balanced weapon. Okay. Now, when you get the clubs, you start using both hands and entwine them, and the awareness that you get from the kinesthetic awareness that you get from the weapons. Actually, what happened with me when I started using weapons, especially with the knives, I had to stop slapping myself. You know, the slap checks that we use in Kenpo, that we start hitting ourselves a lot, which is, I should say, it's wrong. We shouldn't do it. I mean, I've been fighting it for years and years. I just try not to do it, but I still do it sometimes. But it's wrong, especially when you have a knife or a club, when you have a weapon. You don't want to hit yourself with the weapon. You're going to cut yourself. And that's why some people have problems with that, because they have bad habits in their training, right? David Carigliano says, all of the above, sir. Me too. Thank you, sir. Okay. So weapons are very important because it will make your empty hands better. It will make your understanding of motion better. It will make your Kenpo much more effective. So it's important, yes. Okay. Scorch 1028 says, I follow Master Parker's principle to tailor the length of my Kenpo clubs. Thank you. Nice. Yeah, to no longer than the length of my elbow to my fist. Yes. Plus one fist. Yes. That length prevents me from smacking the club into my body. I agree. Yes. Actually, that's explained in one of the videos that I'm sharing. Right. Rhythm method. Oh, yes. Yes. Good. That sounds more like Mr. Mills' type of Kenpo. I'm not saying Mr. Parker didn't do it, but I think Mr. Senior Master or Grandmaster Paul Mills took it to the next level. Thank you. Yes. Cool. Yeah, definitely. So let me look for that part when I'm talking about the length. There it is. So that's a stick or a Cali or a Screamer stick, and those are the Kenpo clubs, which are shorter. Okay, let me see. There, it should be there in a little bit. So there it is. Okay, thank you, Scorch 1028. That's it. The length of the club, it's there you go. Okay, the hand and a fist, an extra fist. Okay, you see it right there, which is not the same in some of the Filipino arts. Actually, in Eskrima, you have different lengths, depends on the style that you practice. But a lot of them are the length of the arm completely, so it's longer. Okay, but it depends also. For example, in the Serrata system from the late Angel Cabalas, he used a short stick like the clubs in Kenpo. Or the Largo Mano system, they use a longer stick. Okay, so it depends on the style as well. Okay, Jorge Sanchez said, old school Kenpo use snap themselves like old master Jesus Gonzalez Sanchez. Yes, thank you. Okay. David Carigliano says, until next time, my friend, have a blessed day. Thank you, sir. You have a blessed day as well. Thank you for sharing. And thank you, everybody, for watching this. So before I go, let me just say that I just wanted to add. So Kenpo, it's an amazing system, okay? If you guys are Kenpo guys, keep on practicing, keep on sharing. If not, learn from it. It's a good style as any other martial arts, okay? But it has a lot of virtues, a lot of good things, a lot of things to learn, and especially the concept, the principles, and the theories of motion behind it. Everything has a why, okay? It's not just there just because. It's the same thing with the weapons. If we think with the logical and practical thinking of Mr. Parker, I don't think he just added weapons just because. There's no logic behind it, okay? He didn't do things just because. Okay, there was always a good reason and more depth into it. So Kenpo, there in the weapons, there is more depth. There's more than meets the eye. Okay, so learn it more, get more, and have fun. So thank you guys for watching this. I hope you had a great time. Coffee was good. Thank you for all the comments, Mr. Carigliano, Mr. Sanchez. Guro, thank you, Catherine. You're the lady. Yes, thank you so much, Guro. Thank you. Uh, Scorch 1028, Mr. Snell, and everybody that was commenting today, Sensei Emmett. Thank you all. You guys take care. I hope you have a great day. Let me see. There we go. Mr. Snell said, thanks, Frank. Good show. Thank you, Matt. Thank you. Much appreciated. Okay. So I hope to see you guys. Remember, February 27th, we have that Zoom seminar, that international seminar with Grandmaster Larry Tatum, that which is organized by my good friend, Mr. Southwell. Let me put it on screen right there. There it is. Okay. Okay, so February 27th, Southwell's Kenpo is hosting a Larry Tatum's International Zoom Camp. Okay, so be there. Remember, it's going to be good. Okay, Sunday noon. Okay, Vladimir da Silva Javier, saludos desde Brasil, maestro. Saludos, maestro. Gracias. Hilary de Guiarte, saludos, master. Saludos. Thank you. Take care. Gracias a todos. Cuídense mucho. Take care, everybody. Thank you so much. Let's see. It was a good show. Take care. Have a good one. Bye.